Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Inside the U here with another 10 takeaways and tidbits for Miami's third spring practice based on talking to Keyshawn Smith, Corey Couch, Zion Nelson, and Gilbert Frierson. So let's get right into it. My number one takeaway is with Keyshawn Smith. He feels like his best attribute is his downfield threat ability, which a lot of the players and coaches have already mentioned. They really like his speed, his ability to make plays downfield. And my question to Keyshawn was, what are some things that you're working on with your route running ability so you're not just a deep downfield threat? And he said he's really working on getting low in his routes. That's a very big point of emphasis by wide receivers coach Rob Likens. And also when you get to the top of the routes, making sure you're breaking down at the right points, basically just not selling, what route you're running. So that's some keys that Keyshawn's doing this spring. He's up to 6'1", 184 pounds. Number two, to Corey Couch. It's great to see Corey, really step into a bigger role last season. One of my question to him was about the interceptions, not just for him, but for the team. The defensive backs didn't have a lot of interceptions last year, and I was curious about maybe some things that they're working on. Basically, he said, look, turnovers are huge, and it starts at the practice field, so that's my takeaway with that. So look for turnovers. Look for the defensive backs to really improve on their turnovers in the secondary during practices this spring. Number three, new outside linebackers coach / strikers coach Ishmael Aristide. He is bringing a ton of energy. Gilbert Frierson almost laughed about it just on how much energy this guy is bringing to the team. Really likes that. He just has a passion for being at Miami. I think that's great to see, and it's great that he's bringing a lot of energy as a new coach. So that's great to hear, great to see. Number four, at left guard, Zion Nelson was asked, Zion's been playing left tackle, but he was asked, which guard are you working with mostly during the spring next to at left guard? And his answer was either Ja'Kai Clark or Jalen Rivers. And I think the key is with Jalen Rivers that he's going to push for that spot if they keep him at left guard. I found it interesting that Devon Donaldson wasn't mentioned, so maybe he's at the right guard spot. But with Jalen Rivers, basically, Zion said that Jalen's doing a good job of coming every day, working hard, really likes that consistency of what he's seen early from Jalen. So just keep an eye on that battle. Ja'Kai Clark mentioned before, just that he's improved his weight, increased his weight in the offseason already. So definitely going to be a heated battle between those two as it stands right now at left guard. Number five, the Miami spring game has been announced that the ACC network will televise it on April 17th at 11 a.m. That's great news for Miami fans. They are not expecting fans to be able to be in attendance. So it's great that it's going to be televised. It's expected to be at Hard Rock Stadium. Just a good sign overall. And also, if you didn't know, the ACC network is also planning on televising Miami's Pro Day on March 29th. So definitely stay locked in there. Certainly we'll have plenty of updates on the spring game and Pro Day on InsideTheU.com if you're not able to make it, not able to watch it on the ACC network. So, number six, the cornerback position, basically Miami's returning three guys that played a lot last year. You add in Tyreek Stevenson, but there's two other young cornerbacks to keep an eye on. Isaiah Dunson and Marcus Clark, they're second-year freshmen, got to play a little bit last year. Corey Couch was asked about both of those guys, how they're coming along, and then things that he noticed was, look, Isaiah Dunson is the more physical corner, while Marcus Clark has the good ball skills. So if you're looking to determine which of those guys and what they're bringing to the table, that's what you're looking at. Dunson with the good size, being physical, and then Marcus Clark, we've heard a lot about his ball skills since he's arrived. So that's good to hear once again that he's being complimented for that. Okay, on to number seven, Gilbert Frierson. The key for Gilbert, and he made great strides last year in his weight gain as he really develops into this striker position. And the big thing for him right now with his weight is he really wants to maintain his 210 pounds. So that's key for him, and that does happen. Look, not everybody's trying to get, at a certain size and whatnot, but basically he feels good at the 210, certainly wants to improve his strength numbers like all players want to do. So, but he's good with his weight, and that's been something that's increased quite a bit since he first arrived at Miami a few years ago. So definitely good to see that Gilbert still has that mentality to increase his weight and strength, or increase his strength while maintaining his weight. So he also noted that during the spring, he really feels like the strikers, the weak side linebacker, and the middle linebacker are all working to really become a really close unit together with a lot of consistency. playing together, complement each other. It's essentially just 2 linebackers and a striker, but really it's kind of a 3 linebacker system. The strikers, the way it's labeled in Miami's defense under Manny Diaz, it just has a different label, but basically just working all 3 positions. He wants everybody to be really connected with that group. So definitely pay attention to that. I mentioned Coach Aristide earlier, Jonathan Patke taking over the inside linebackers role as coach this spring. On to number 8. I'm going back to Zion Nelson. And Zion's a guy that over his time at Miami, he's been increasing his weight steadily each and every year. Right now he says he's up to 315 pounds. So that's a good sign. Again, staying at left tackle. And also he said his bench numbers, his max bench right now is 375, which is, again, it's increasing. And he did note that he stopped at 375, felt like he could have kept going. And look, the way they do their testing, they're going to do it later on after spring ball, so or towards the end of spring ball and whatnot. But so that number might increase as the month goes on. So definitely good sign from Zion, increasing his strength, increasing his weight a little bit more. And also too, he felt good with his body fat percentage. He said he's down to 16% when they did their body composition test last week. So that's a good sign too. So Zion, once again, 3rd year in the program, really doing a good job of developing his body, maintaining some certain weight and strength numbers. So those are good signs to see from, a guy that's really making great strides. So on to number 9. This is a wide receiver that some fans were interested in hearing, and it's Michael Redding III. So Corey Couch was asked about Michael Redding III, just how's he doing? What's it like going against him? And the things that Corey said was, look, he's a big physical receiver, and with that, he's really good at the line of scrimmage with his hands. So I think that's a good sign because, again, it's one thing to be physical, downfield, catching passes, maybe as a possession receiver, but it's very important for these physical guys to be able to get off the line of scrimmage with their hands, because if they don't have that top end speed, like a Keyshawn Smith that I mentioned earlier, that they need to be able to get off the line of scrimmage with their hands. Their strength at the line is certainly very important. So that's great to see, great to hear from Michael Redding III as he looks to make an increase, few catches last year, 3 catches, 1 for a touchdown last year. But again, one of these guys that's trying to make great strides in the spring and really vault himself into the mix there. My last and 10th takeaway of the spring, practice number 3, is Chase Smith. He's a newcomer. Early enrollee, he was a guy that I like personally on film quite a bit. He's playing striker. They used him all over the field in high school, even on the offensive side of the ball. Gilbert Frierson was asked about, hey, how's he doing? How's he looking so far? And Gilbert just kind of lit up and saying, look, he's a tall, rangy striker right now. He really likes his abilities, the things he's seen in the first 3 practices. So that's a good sign. I also find the striker position to be very challenging for freshmen, for newcomers to really adapt, because I think there's a lot that goes into this position. Being able to guard certain guys, defend certain guys, while also still being on the attack at the line of scrimmage, against ball carriers, and also guys catching passes. And I think that's the thing that stood out to me in watching some film on Chase, was I saw those attributes that seem to be needed at the position. So it's a good sign that he's doing well. So those are my 10 takeaways and tidbits from the 3rd spring practice. I appreciate everybody for watching these videos. I'm going to keep them going. Be sure to like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, but also check out InsideTheU.com for all your coverage of the Miami Hurricanes. Thanks again for watching, and take care.